Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's another Tuesday, uh, 30th of August 2022. It's yet another opportunity for us to sit together and speak to one another around matters that affect our mental health, our emotions, our attentions, and all that. And just so that you know, this week, we are celebrating one full year cycle since we started hosting the weekly Mental Health Tuesday sessions. So, congratulations to all of you who have been with us. And we are 1 year older now. And let's uh, put our socks, let's pull up our socks again for another great year, inshallah, of mental health support for us and the people around us. We are privileged tonight to host Mr. Joshua Niyonzima from Burundi. A young man, I don't know how old is he. He looks like he's still 16 years old. He has a story to tell, a story that resonates with the context that we are in Kenya. Uh, we uh, we have just concluded our general elections 2 weeks back, and of course, some candidates have petitioned the elections, more so the presidential candidates. So we are still waiting for the Supreme Court to give us a verdict early next week whether or not we are having a president or we have to go back to the ballot. And this is a time of tensions, emotions, and everybody is pulling apart. Much as elections are democratic processes that are meant to give us good leaders, that is meant to, make our lives better, we also know that elections are very disruptive. And sometimes we can be lured to do that which is not for everybody. You may be selfish and want to even, risk civil strife and stuff like that. So because of that, I felt, or we felt as an organization, that we need to have a conversation around elections and emotions and how we can cope with those emotions. So tonight, Brother Joshua from Burundi will share his story of how political processes can be very poisonous to our communities and to our lives. We want his story to inspire us to say no to heightened emotions, to say no to civil strife, to say no to, chest thumping and the bravados that we are showing each other. We want Joshua's story, inshallah, to plant a seed that is going to germinate peace, collaboration, and resilience and hope in our lives. So, welcome very much, Brother Joshua. But before Joshua says anything, I want us to share. You can write your name on the call chat. Tell us who you are and where you are listening from. But also, if you have a question or if you have an opinion, please also write it. In 3 minutes, I would want to ask us, um, what was the biggest dilemma in your life and how did you go about it? What was the biggest dilemma in your life and how did you go about it? If you want to share, please, you have an opportunity before Joshua speaks, or you may write your contents on the call chat and then we may call you to maybe speak about it, or we may share it with others if you're okay. So, what was the biggest dilemma in your life and how did you cope with it? That's the question. What was the biggest dilemma in your life and how did you cope with it? You may raise your hand or you may write on the call chat.
I don't know if I've seen Bakari raising his hand. No, I don't know if I'm mistaken.
He had risen his hand and then he pulled it down.
Okay.
So anyone who is ready to share? If not, then we may call upon you later after Joshua speaks. So Joshua, welcome, brother. Brother from another mother, all the way from Burundi. Please tell us who you are and how did you survive after all those very difficult, frightening tensions in your life. So please introduce yourself and then start from where you can. Karibu.
Thank you so much, Mohammadi. Asante sana. As Mohammadi has already introduced in the introduction, my name is Joshua Niyonzima from Burundi. I'm Burundian. He said that I look like a 15 years old guy. I'm 33 years old. I was born in 1989 in Bujumbura. I grew up in Bujumbura, the capital of Burundi. Yes, and I did my studies in Burundi also, in Bujumbura, since 2013, where I get my bachelor degree. And then I started the internship in 2014, and then I have the chance to be hired in an international organization, like as an administrative and finance assistant in 2015. So it was in May 11 in 2015 that I started my professional work. So briefly, this is Joshua, who also is African, like my fellow Kenyans that we are together in the meeting. Thank you also, Muhammad. It's a pleasure for me to be invited to this talk of the mental health that's organized by SambaSports, and I do appreciate the work that SambaSports is doing in Kenya, and I even follow what SambaSports is doing there, and it's amazing. It's a good, very good work. Yeah, let me just tell you that I'm very happy to talk to Kenyans since now you are in the critical period. I know that I don't remember if it was 2014 or 17 where there was tension around elections. We saw this, we watched this through our television. And now, I have this opportunity to talk with Kenyans, so I'm happy to share also my experience on how those different periods affected us as young people in Africa, young people in Burundi, in East African region. So for me, my story started when I was hired in the international organization. As I told you, I started in May 11th, and in the same week, and in May 13th, it means 2 days after I have the letter, the crisis started in Burundi. So this is 2015, and it was like, for me, it was like, this is the good news that I have the job in May on 11. The same week, after 2 days, it's a bad news. Why? Demonstration started 2 days after I get my job. So it was, for me, it was like, what can I do? What can I do now since after the demonstration began, you know, people started to flee their home to our neighboring countries. And then I know my neighbors started to fled their home, my family, my parents. And then I remember after 1 month, after 1 month, my mom told me, Joshua, people are now not able to live in this country, in Bujumbura, so we need to move. And I asked her, where do we need to go? And he told me, we need to go in our neighboring country. And I told her, I've just started working. I've even not yet been paid for the first month, and you want me to go out. And she told me, Joshua, everyone now is going out. He's fled his home. So you should even sit down. You should, or even let your job and join others and go out, because it is not safe. The country is not safe. So I was in that dilemma of, do I need to be safe and go out, leave my country? Or do I need to stay and struggle with others, whereby I know that it's very difficult for a young guy to have the opportunity to get a job, especially in the international organization. So I lived in that dilemma during that period. You know, Burundi has faced so many challenges and crises since the independence, since 1993 and 1996 up to 2015. So the challenge is, I know that all Burundians faced challenges in 2015 regarding of we need to know what is our future. It was thinking about how tomorrow will be. How will I be able to survive? So it was difficult for me. And I remember that the thing which was most challenging me is that I born and I was living in the cities in Bujumbura, where we had so many demonstrations. So it was hard for me to not be part of the demonstrators and to go to my office to work and then go back to my home and explain to those who were demonstrating that I'm not available. And they used to tell me, why? You need to join us. We need to defend our country. We need to demonstrate. And say, okay, it's good, but I have a job. I have only spent 2 weeks, 3 weeks working. So how and why should I leave my work and then come to join you? So it was difficult because no one was able to use vehicles, go to the office. So it was very difficult for me to leave my home, travel at almost 5 kilometers to the office, and then come back to my home in the night. So as you experience it at the demonstration in Kenya, you see how it is very difficult to move from one city to another. So it was a very challenging situation. And for me, it was even a critical situation whereby I was even regretting not to leave my country and go out, because I say every day I was sleeping and wake up in the morning, think about, can I survive this day? And it was very difficult for me to be sure that I will survive every single day. But thanks to the situation which I can say grew up positively, things start changing. Things start to change. And then I remember After two years, 3 years, the family came back in Burundi, the neighbors came back in Burundi, and they tried to tell us the struggle that they was facing in our neighboring countries. And I was like, I'm a lucky guy to spend all these 3 years in the struggle here in Burundi and to keep my job and to continue, and then until I see again my family coming back in the country. So this put me to realize that peace is a precious gift that people can have in our country. So I can say that whatever you do, whatever people can do, please keep our peace, keep our community safe. Because if we are used in one way or another to destabilize our country, no one else will suffer from this. It's me, it's you, it's our family, it's our community. If it's not you, you will find some relative be involved or get suffer, who can suffer even from the conflict that he didn't even be the promoter of that conflict. So I can say that as Africans, as people who has been raised in the community, in the African community, we shall have the chance to live in peace. You know, we have so many conflicts and differences in our community, but this could not be the fact that people could turn those conflicts into violences. You know, we have a lot of misunderstanding, we have a lot of conflict, but never violence can lead us. Not violence can be the solution. So we can see, you can find a way to resolve some conflict. We can see how we can talk about different differences that we have, but violence is I can see is a worst things that we can face, especially in Africa. You know, those conflicts most of the time raise from personal interest. We are called upon to defend personal interests, and then when it becomes to the impact, we are facing all those consequences which have raised from the violence. So I can ask everyone, wherever you are, just to know that we are the key persons. Everyone have the responsibility to keep the peace where he lives, to keep safe the community, to keep safe their neighbors, so that we can live in harmony and in peace, because peace is the key of everything. You can have everything you can desire, but if you don't have peace in your community, it's very difficult for you even to be even resilient on every problem that you can face. You know, we are used to have to go through those challenges, to go through those difficult situations, but this cannot be the way that we can encourage those cycle or those crisis cycle. We need to see how to move on, what should be our priority in 23rd century. So we need to work. We need people, we need young people to be good entrepreneurs. We need young people to be good leaders. So that's what we should be tight on, so that we can build a good community. So briefly, I can say that this is what I can share with you for now. and ask you to keep peace where you are and not be tempted by violence promoters in your country, and keep Kenya safe from any violences that can raise in your country, because we have a beautiful country, you have beautiful people. So I pray that as a Joshua in biblical, Joshua's Muhammad has said before, so that we can be safe in East Africa, so that we can have a great nation in Africa that is proud to be African. So we should not be titled like a violent people, a violent population, a violent continent. We shall be titled like a continent with hope, a continent with a lot of talent, so that we can build our community in the safe, in the safe world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brother Joshua. I know it's a struggle to have a session where you have to speak in English all through. Joshua's or Burundi's first language is French, but Joshua is doing very well to keep on communicating with us in English. Thank you very much. We are blessed. Just two questions, Joshua. I know in our conversations, I know you described how your route to work used to be like, because it's not like a normal day where there are no vehicles, but you can walk to work without any disturbance. You explained how there were so many roadblocks, so many places where you be stopped and asked, who are you and why are you not in the movement and stuff. Kindly briefly describe to us, how did it look like walking from home to the office, and how do you survive all those traps? And then second, what is it that drove you? You are alone, the family has fled to Rwanda, and neighbors have fled to Rwanda, and people have gone to other countries, and you are alone. But you are sticking to that job that you have. Can you tell us, what is it? What qualities in your life that made you survive to a point that you can now talk to us, Joshua?
Thank you, Muhammadi. First of all, it's very difficult to see the day changing in few I can say in few hours. We are on Monday, Tuesday, and on Wednesday everything changed. And you are like, when you are safe in your country, you watch on the television, the normal life is there, you are watching the television, you see a situation in Afghanistan and Pakistan, and you feel like, oh, what is happening? And you think that this cannot happen in your country. So I was scared to see the situation, to see that all the roads was empty. From my home to the office, the roads were empty. We saw, I can say, the police and soldiers' cars and stones and tiles in the roads, and it was empty of people. So I was scared about that, and how I managed to go there, to go from my home to the office, I used even to lie to the demonstrators. I remember the first time I went to the office, I used to tell them, I'm just going somewhere. I will be back. And then when they saw me after 1 week, going in the morning, come back in the night, and they realized that you have a job and you need to leave your job and come to join us. And it was difficult, very difficult for me. I cannot say I was very a specialist on how to talk to people, to go to my work, but I just used to even to corrupt demonstrators, to corrupt people so that I can go to my work. And it was very, 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 very dangerous. And what about the corruption that was used? I say, okay, I have a pen, I have a bread here, I have some fruits here. Can I give you so that you can let me go to my work? And then they let me go there. So it was a different situation. It was a different situation. And for me, staying alone in the country, in Bujumbura, whereby I know that my family was in Rwanda, it was very difficult for me. And what encouraged me is that I was titled to have that job when I was at the school. And I promised myself that when I will get the job, I will do my best so that I can keep this job for a long time. So when I started working, it was like no one can tell me, leave the job, go and do this. I was even swearing that I would not support any political party because I was titled on self-resilience, self-employment. So I wanted a job. I wanted something that can help to raise my family, to help my family. So I was titled on that, and I was convinced that if I keep my journey, if I keep my work, this can help me, not only me, but also this can help my family. So I was like, thinking that if my family is going out, and even me, I go out, so what should I do if we have a safe country after 1 year or 2 years? What should I do if I don't have this job? So I did my best to keep that job so that I can be, I can have those resources that can help me. Even having the resources which will help my family when they will not be in my country. So I even used to help my country until they come back. And I think this also showed me that if I didn't do that like that, I could suffer and my family could suffer to survive when they return back in our home. So that's it.
Thank you very much, Brother Joshua. We can't take you for granted for the risk that you've taken to give us your story. A story of hope, a story of resilience, and you say that the belief that you are holding something very, very important to you and to your family, that job, and you say, because of this job, I am going to suffer alone, I am going to cross all rivers, but make sure I have something to fall back to in case my family needs it. And you let your family go to Rwanda and everybody, and you are left alone. But you said, I am clinging on this job, and I am not going to let anybody take it away from me, and I'm going to be peaceful. I'm not going to join anybody to disrupt this small piece that is remaining. Thank you very much, Brother Joshua, for that. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the story of Joshua. I think when you hear it online, it looks like a shorter version than that when you meet him. I've had a privilege of walking and working with Joshua, and hearing this story firsthand was different from hearing it online. Nevertheless, what is your opinion? What is your feedback that you are taking from this story from Joshua? Are we picking any lessons? Do we have any feedback? Do we have any questions that we want to ask Joshua or ask ourselves because of this story? Who wants to go first? Raise your hand and then we'll give you an opportunity to speak. You may raise your hand, we give you time to speak, or you write on the call chat and then we will read it out. Brother Mukhtar Ogle, you are going to be first. Take the podium.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Brother Joshua Niyonzima. Thank you for your shared insights, and thank you, SambaSport, for this timely conversation. Thank you, Brother Joshua, because of your shared insights. We cannot take or never take peace for granted and the safety of our communities. It is the responsibilities of families and communities to safeguard their nation and their communities for peace. The lesson for us as a country, we are all aware, we have had our fair share of fierce, open, and disruptive political conflict from 2007 and 8. And as a country, we continually struggle to nation building, deepen our democracy by strengthening our key institutions to make them functional and build trust. We don't have to go either the Burundi way or the Rwanda way or countries that have gone through. The lessons for us of 2007 are sufficient, especially conflicts coming from political disagreements. Over the years, we have become tolerant and have coexisted harmoniously. And I implore Kenyans to build upon that spirit so as to reduce our protest circles. The beauty of what is happening now where we have had divergent views over the outcomes of the elections on the institution of IEBC. We have had peaceful elections during and after. And unlike 2007 and 8, and we have repeated it, and as we did it in 2013 and 2017, 2022 also we are solving our political differences because of our respect for the rule of law, managing our disagreements or political contentions through legal means. Like now for us, the Supreme Court is, unlike the streets that we are going to and the destruction, we have matured, our democracy has matured. We are utilizing the Supreme Court as an alternative model to fix our grievances and shape Kenya's future. To all Kenyans who are listening to this, we implore them to be peaceful, to be agents of peace, so that we have a peaceful government installed after all these things is sorted out. We have trust and faith in our institutions. We know the election has been very close. It has been very close by two very brilliant, patriotic Kenyans who have competed, who have solved the agenda, and the Kenyans have given a verdict. Despite the challenges, we have seen the use of technology and 0.01%. This tells us also, our young people, to look at the place of science, technology, and innovation in even managing our electoral democracy. Finally, we might have had our preferences for our political party or group orientation. Then we need to have a human desire also to prioritize social harmony, peaceful coexistence, avoid conflict, and build consensus at the grassroots. I'm happy Kwale community through SambaSport is a very good model for other Kenyans to follow and to have this virtual dialogue. I've always said it for different aspects, and I'm glad during this election period we are having this dialogue for us to engage, to see what we can do together so as to look at issues of politics, security, ask about fundamental questions about our democratic participation, our political culture of tolerance, and civic engagement. Finally, congratulations the people of Kwale for electing a woman. Thank you very much. As your governor. Asante.
Oh, thank you very much, Brother Mukhtar Ogle. Always very insightful and very educative. You remain our role model as Samba, and we will forever follow your route of diplomacy and innovation as a way to coexist. Thank you very much. Nuri, your hand is up.
Thank you, Mohammed. I think it is always a whole different picture, especially when Dr. Mukhtar speaks before you. And all that you might have wanted to say, would have probably touched on them, but I want to follow a different dimension on this. I think, Joshua, something that I really took, or rather I'm taking home with me here is, you know, your ability to stand and say, you know, regardless the situation, I'm a man of this country. I belong in this country. And if things are going south, then the responsibility is left on me as a young person and the rest to ensure that we restore this country to the place that it should be. And I think that, you know, can be interpreted as intrepid, you know, with a lot of fearlessness, fortitude, and also endurance. I think that's where the part of the part of resilience is coming from. So with me, I think that's something that I'm taking home, you know, being able to be assertive and say, this country belongs to us and we have a collective responsibility to make sure that we take it places. And you staying there, you believe that I'm going to work, and through my work, I'm going to inspire people, I'm going to inspire lives. And that is the reason why you are here today. And it's a bold decision. So for the young people who are listening, it's a call that we take it to our hearts. And these days, patriotism is just like any other vocabulary, but it is time now that it starts meaning something different from just it being a mere vocabulary. So thank you so much for that. And I hope that this country, Kenya, and also the continent of Africa as a large, will be able to love our countries and say, if it's going down, we are going down with it, but we are not going to let it go down. We'll stand tall and ensure that our country rise again. And there you are. I've been to Burundi, especially at the big city, Bujumbura, and it's lovely when you see it. So it's good to have someone who is going to share that story. I've had people share the story to me, but it's good now you share different perspective of that story. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nuri.
Thank you so much, Nuri, on behalf of Joshua. Joshua was just 25 years, 26 years, 25 years when all, and that is the moment when we are very volatile as young people. And if at 25 years he was able to stand tall and say no to all the temptations to go berserk, then basically, if all 25-year-olds behave that way, then we'd have a great nation. Thank you very much, Nuri, and thank you very much again, Joshua. Anybody else who has anything? We have another 10 minutes to go. Someone has written on the call chat, Mwanaisha Kwania, saying, I think Joshua is a hero and needs to be celebrated. I have learned to have a purpose in life and stand by it. Thank you very much. You have followers, Joshua. Please take them to Canaan.
Thank you, Mwanaisha. Thank you. I think I'm waiting people coming from Kenya to Canada in Bujumbura. Thank you.
You are a Joshua standing with a rope, pulling them instead of moving with them to the ocean, saying, please hold that rope, I can pull you across the rope, the ocean. Let me see, we have another feedback on the call chat. We have Nancy Wambura saying, thank you so much, Joshua, for the inspiring real life story. It is a very it is a very good piece of encouragement to the youth. At times, one wants to make a decision, but the family parents tend to disagree, and mostly one is tempted to follow what the family says. But taking from you that it's good to stand by your decision, even though risky at times, we need to see beyond. Something else I have taken home is with peace, everything is possible. Thank you very much, Nancy, for your feedback. Damina says, how I wish you can reach some of our politicians who use insightful language when addressing matters of election in our country. Keep it up, Joshua. You are an inspiration to our region. Thank you very much, Damina. Kongole sana, Joshua. I know Joshua can speak a few words in Kiswahili. A few words is an understatement.
Yes, I can. Nashukuru sana da Amina, nakushukuru sana Nancy, shukran sana Mwanaisha.
Well done. Any further feedback? We still have some 8 minutes to spare. If you have your feedback, if you want to speak, you can raise your hand and we can give an opportunity to speak. As I call for people to speak, I also want to say hello to Brother Selemani from Bujumbura. I want to say hello to Sabrina. I had seen Cynthia who had joined the call. Everybody from Burundi who are here, we share the love with you. Thank you so much for standing tall and watching over us here in Kenya. Any other feedback? Selemani, Sabrina, maybe you want to say something to Kenyans. I want to give you this opportunity before we close, just to say hi and maybe a piece of advice as we are still wallowing in the midst of political processes. Selemani and Sabrina, please, you may take an opportunity to speak to us. As Selemani and Sabrina think of who will start, I have some further feedback from Amana Mohammed, who says, thanks, Joshua. I agree that peace is all important because once the mentor is disturbed, all goes astray. And through maintaining peace, that's why we are still calm on the ongoing process of election. Thanks, SambaSport, for this forum. Bye. Thank you so much, Amana, for being a staunch supporter of the Mental Health Tuesday. Selemani, brother, you want to say something? Okay, Sabrina, please bless us with your voice. Just say hi.
Where are they?
Maybe Joshua, umeongea yote, umechukua sauti zao, umeongelea.
Sijui kama wamekosa
Sawa, then
internet connection.
Selemani says he's in the call chat. He says, I'm in the bus and I have a problem on sound to catch you very well. But thank for all, and I want to say pole to Joshua and to congratulate Sana Joshua. Thank you very much, Selemani. if there's no further feedback, maybe we can give you, Joshua, maybe your closing comments, and then we close early. Joshua.
Thank you, Muhammadi. The last thing that I'd like to add is that please don't give up. If you are right, if you are looking for good thing, if you are looking for a positive change, if you are looking for peace in your country, don't give up. And another thing is that don't let violence to be the solution of every situation. So move away from any kind of violences. Yeah, that's what I can wish to all Kenyans, whichever situation we are in Kenya, in Africa, in every part of the continent. Don't let violence to be the solution. Yes, that's what I can wish to everyone.
Wow. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Brother Joshua, for all your time and commitment all the way from Burundi. I just want to tell everybody that Joshua is the most pleasant person you can have in an office. And I have prophesied that Joshua will be the biggest he has ever imagined at work. And he is both a very high level officer in an international organization and also an entrepreneur. So the sky is not even the limit, Joshua. Thank you very much. You have given your country, and now let God shower you with all his blessings. Thank you very much, everyone. It's been a good moment sharing with you all. And please, let's take the lessons from this call. And what can I say? Love you all, and good night. God bless you.
Bless you too. God bless Kenya.